Once upon a time, in a small village surrounded by dense forests, there lived a girl named Ifeoma. Ifeoma's life began under a cloud of sorrow and mystery. Her mother, Neka, had been a bright, hopeful teenager until a dark night when she was attacked by a stranger. This tragedy brought Ifeoma into the world, but it also brought with it a burden of pain and hardship for Neka. As years went by, life became increasingly difficult for Neka. She loved Ifeoma dearly, but struggled to provide for her. One desperate night, believing she had no other choice, Neka tearfully left Ifeoma in the forest, praying the spirits would protect her child. As dawn broke, Chidi, a kind-hearted herdsman, was guiding his cattle through the forest. The cows, normally calm, began to moo loudly and gather around a thick bush. Intrigued and concerned, Chidi approached the bush and discovered the crying infant. His heart ached at the sight of the helpless baby. Without hesitation, he scooped her up and took her home. Chidi lived with his wife, Adaora, and their daughter, Nkem, who was a few years older than Ifeoma. Chidi and Adaora had always wished for more children, but fate had not been kind to them. Chidi decided to raise Ifeoma as his own daughter. He named her Ifeoma, which means good thing, for he believed her arrival was a blessing. Under Chidi's care, Ifeoma blossomed into a bright and cheerful girl. She adored Chidi and believed him to be her father. However, Adaora viewed Ifeoma as a rival for Chidi's affection. She felt that Chidi spent too much time with Ifeoma, neglecting their own daughter, Nkem. The seed of jealousy took root in Adaora's heart, and she began to foster rivalry between the two girls. Adaora would praise Nkem excessively in front of Ifeoma and scold Ifeoma for minor mistakes, always making comparisons that put Nkem in a favorable light. She whispered to Nkem that Ifeoma was trying to steal her father's love, stirring feelings of resentment and competition. Despite Adaora's efforts, Ifeoma and Nkem initially got along well. They played together, shared secrets, and explored the village. But as Adaora's manipulations took effect, Nkem began to distance herself from Ifeoma, sometimes being cruel and dismissive. Ifeoma, confused and hurt, couldn't understand why her sister had changed. One day, a grand festival was announced in the village. It was a time for families to celebrate and give thanks. Chidi wanted to take both girls to the festival, but Adaora insisted that Nkem should wear the finest clothes and be the center of attention. Ifeoma, in her simple dress, felt out of place and sad. Despite the initial peace, Adaora's jealousy resurged. She manipulated Nkem into believing Ifeoma was an intruder who needed to be put in her place. Together, they devised a scheme to make Ifeoma's life miserable. Adaora and Nkem would sit idly as Ifeoma performed all the household chores. When Chidi returned home, they falsely reported her as lazy and incompetent.